Did you know that the day Thanksgiving falls on has been a major political football that presidents and Congress have had to get involved in? Yes, it's true. Let's go through a little history of the politics of when we celebrate Thanksgiving. All right, so it starts in 1863 when Abraham Lincoln, who was president at the time, announces that the final Thursday of November will be when we celebrate Thanksgiving. And it basically continues on that way until the late 1930s when FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, is president. And it's important to note there isn't a national holiday in any of that time. Basically, the president proclaims the day of Thanksgiving and we celebrate it. But between 1863 and 1939, it was always the final Thursday in November. Okay, makes sense? All right, so in 1939, the calendar falls that there are 5 Thursdays in November, which means that the Thanksgiving holiday would fall, I believe, on the 30th of November. Roosevelt is concerned that that's too late. Because back in those days, man, I wish I could go back. Back in those days, companies didn't advertise and didn't sell Christmas content until after Thanksgiving. They waited until after Thanksgiving to start doing that sort of stuff, which is very different than now when basically Christmas starts like 2 days after Labor Day. So, but back then, they did not do it. So there was no Christmas stuff for sale. No, so they basically had a very truncated window to make money during Christmas. So lots of these businesses advocated and lobbied Roosevelt and said, we need more time to start the Christmas season rather than November 30th. So Roosevelt said, you know what? I'm going to proclaim that November 23rd, 1939 is actually Thanksgiving. 1 week before, the 4th Thursday, not the final Thursday. Okay, this is amazing stuff. Okay, so you would think like not that big a deal. He announced it in August, so people had time to adjust, but not really, right? Because rivalry games, college football rivalry games were already set up. School calendars were already set up. People who made actual calendars were super bitter at FDR for changing the date of Thanksgiving because all their calendars were out of date. All right, so Alf Landon, who had run and lost badly to FDR in 1936, this is an amazing quote. He said that FDR did this change, the change of the calendar of Thanksgiving, quote, with the omnipotence of Hitler. Yeah, so we were still doing Hitler comparisons. This was 1939 with the omnipotence of Hitler. And the public was super divided, and actually they didn't really approve of what FDR was doing. So Gallup was polling way back then. So overall, 62% of people disapproved of moving the holiday from the final Thursday in November to the 4th Thursday, from November 30th to November 23rd. And it was really split along partisan lines. 52% of Democrats favored the move, 45% didn't want to do it, while 79%, 8 in 10 Republicans opposed FDR moving Thanksgiving, while just 21% supported. I think that's just because it was, do you support FDR or do you not support FDR is really what that polling question was about, but totally fascinating. Okay, so the day comes, November 23rd, 1939. FDR is in Warm Springs, Georgia. He's celebrating, but not all states were celebrating. So 23 states plus the District of Columbia celebrated Thanksgiving in 1939 on November 23rd. 22 states celebrated on November 30th, the traditional week later. 3 states, and I would have loved to live in these states because you get 2 Thanksgivings, they celebrated both November 23rd and November 30th as Thanksgiving. That's Colorado, Mississippi, and Texas. Double Thanksgiving. So FDR continues on. In 1940, same thing. A few more states celebrated on that 4th Thursday before Thanksgiving, so 1 week earlier than normal. And then in 1941, FDR is like, this is stupid. I'm getting a lot of bad press for this. We're on the verge of going into World War II. Like, this is dumb. So he switches it back. He basically says, I'm going to issue this proclamation, and Congress signs it into law. They say, okay, it's always, always, always going to be the 4th Thursday in November, starting in 1942. And FDR, this is how they wrote about it. Waving a handful of statistics, graphs, reports, and comments, the International News Service reported, quote, the president admitted that moving up the date of Thanksgiving a week had been a complete turkey. See what they did there? They call it that period from 1939 to 1941 when there were 2 Thanksgivings. They call the first one Franksgiving. See what they did there? Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Franksgiving. But now it is absolutely a national holiday. The 4th Thursday of November is always Thanksgiving, even in a year like this, where it falls on November 28th, basically almost as late as it possibly can. But don't worry, retailers are going to be just fine because, as I said, we have started Thanksgiving. We've started Christmas months and months and months ago. All the houses in my neighborhood already have Christmas lights on them, so you don't have to worry about the retailers. They are going to make their money even in a truncated Christmas season. Remember, they didn't have the internet. There was no Black Friday sales on the internet back in 1939. But that is the political history of Thanksgiving. FDR, he tried to change it. He realized the error of his ways, and he changed it back, which is why we have Thanksgiving on the 4th Thursday of every November, and we will, I think, in perpetuity. All right. Everybody have a great Thanksgiving. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy your meal. Enjoy your friends. Enjoy your family. Enjoy whoever you're with. Watch some football. Eat some good food. And then do 4 things. 1, thank you, Thumb. Subscribe to this channel. 2, like this video. 3, comment on this video. Do it for the algorithm. And 4, while you're at your Thanksgiving table, tell 10 friends. 10 friends about this channel that I'm making. Because we're almost to 50,000. So let's do this thing, people. All right? Everybody, take care. Have a wonderful day.